The steeple of the Duomo wasn't special. I could see it from my window, the marble arches circling around a singular tall turret, holding up a golden cross, the highest in the city of Florence. The person who built this was a genius, or maybe just insane. But I'd seen the same back home in New Jersey. During recess in Hebrew school, we used to look at all of the steeples and argue over which was the coolest. I always thought that the synagogue's large, dark blue stained glass windows were better, but we couldn't compare windows to steeples. Florence had many steeples, but on that groggy July night, all I saw from my window was the tallest of them, La Catridad de Santa Maria del Fiore, or the Duomo. I was sick of seeing churches. A month before, Mom and Dad dropped me off at JFK Airport, telling me to go and figure out what I wanted to do with my life, while studying art and eating pasta in Italy. And there I was. Some days I had pasta for every meal. Long afternoons were spent looking at paintings of Jesus on the cross. On weekends, the train was taken to adjacent towns. My eyes hurt. And the Duomo was annoying. Why did it look that way? So cold, almost as though the steeple was judging me. Could it tell the irony of this whole ordeal? If it isn't obvious, then I should make this confession to you, that in all of the weeks studying statues and frescoes in churches and steeples, I was able to hide that I was Jewish. A Jew in the city of Renaissance art. There were altars to multitudes of saints I never knew existed, littered at each and every street corner. There were long lines every Sunday for Mass as everyone shuttled off to sit in the grand pews. It was nothing like I ever experienced, not even like home. But now it was late. 1 a.m. to be exact. On the desk next to me was a copy of The Merchant of Venice, another Jew out of place in Italy. It was in Italian, a product of my sudden ability to read in the language. It was something I gained from the city, if not an immense knowledge of the art of paintings on ceilings and marble sculptures and a knack for staying up late. But I was tired of the pretty city. I felt trapped in the gilded glamour of a place not built for me, and in the moments when I tried to achieve such, they were so fleeting and unremarkable that I was better off staring at architecture than hoping there would suddenly be more Jews in the Catholic city of Florence. But that would never happen, would it? Because there were people in the same shoes before me, scrutinized under the very same gaze of the steeple, who did not stay. I would be leaving anyway. But would I continue to see the city as a place I can never grow comfortable in? Or would I choose to see it for what it provided me? As all things go, in the hours before I found myself under the Duomo's gaze, I went to Tempio Maggiore, per my parents' suggestion. Synagogue on a Friday night. Perhaps it would provide me with an answer. The service was maybe 4 hours long, fully in Hebrew, which was terribly confusing, and the rugelach I had afterwards was god-awful. How could you mess up rugelach? It's just a better chocolate croissant. Yet, despite it being terrible, it reminded me of rugelach I had in Jerusalem on a Friday night under the large windows of a synagogue. I looked to the windows of Tempio Maggiore. As the sun went down and the Shabbos begun, the deep blue of the royal Florentine sky shone through them, as though they were the very same windows belonging to my synagogue back in New Jersey. The very same as every other synagogue I had been to. I stuffed a few rugelach into my bag and went back to my apartment and took my seat at the window. Before me sat someone under this very same gaze of the steeple. Many did, and many will continue to. But I took my eyes off of it to eat another piece of rugelach. Still just as terrible, but I loved it nonetheless. I looked out the window again, but not at the Duomo. Instead, I gazed forward, across the streets of Florence, watching as the blue passed through each and every window, through the rose windows of cathedrals, through the long panes of the synagogue, and over the hills into the next town and the next. Through each and every window, the sky went, and would continue to. And I would continue to look forward. Thank you.